The federal government has confirmed that the Islamic State West African province is responsible for the attack on St. Francis Catholic Church Owo that led to the death of about 40 persons on the 5th of June. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, while speaking after a meeting of the National Security Council, disclosed that security agencies, particularly the police, have been directed to apprehend the perpetrators. The former governor noted that the attack has no ethnic religious connection.
From all indications, we are zeroing in on ISWAP, the Islamic State for West Africa. It is not an ethno-religious thing. The animals in ISWAP wanting attention and recognition are suspected to have launched that attack, and we have directed all the agencies concerned to go after them and bring them to justice.
With a lot of manpower that we are going to inject into the system, by next month we are graduating about 10,000 policemen to join us. In terms of logistics, we had a lot of tools to work more than ever before, and with better welfare and so forth, I think we should also expect better performance.
And joining me now to discuss this announcement by the federal government is a security expert, Sheyi Adetayo. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So let me start by getting your thoughts on this announcement coming from the federal government that ISWAP is responsible for the attack in Owo on the 5th of June, bearing in mind that no group has taken responsibility for the attack. And then in terms of method of operation, if that is also what you saw in that attack.
Yes, it's a fact that the modus operandi of ISWAP is that after every attack, they usually, carried out by them, they usually claim responsibility for such actions. If you look at the last 1 month, that ISWAP had carried 2 attacks in Kogi State, Okene. They took responsibility in less than 24 hours on each of the separate incidents. And since this particular incident now, which is now getting close to a week now, and nothing coming from ISWAP, I find it difficult to agree. However, one should also understand from the statement by the Minister for Communication that they are zeroing in on ISWAP, that which means that they don't have the absolute, then the conclusion is not absolute. Perhaps maybe they have some information that they are piecing together and is tending more to ISWAP elements. But I strongly don't want to agree with that, because this is one group that always want to, and it is always published. Their claim on each of these attacks are published internationally. So it is more or less like something that they want to use to establish their position within the larger ISIS network, to show how much of activities that they are doing in Nigeria, in their own terrain, which is Nigeria. So if they have been able to carry out such an attack that had really, hit the nation at the core.
And with that level of casualty. But let me just jump in here. Let's try and connect the dots. We know that ISWAP has had a lot of attacks, in the north, and you also just mentioned Kogi. So when you look at the several attacks that have been carried out by ISWAP, which they have taken responsibility for, and you look at this particular attack in Owo, beyond just taking responsibility, are there similarities between those attacks and this particular attack that one can say, ISWAP does this regularly, so it has to be, it might just be ISWAP?
Exactly, because from police EOD investigation, IEDs were discovered. And I believe that is one of the reasons why government is married on ISWAP. Now, this is my own take. You see, there are dissidents within the elements of this terrorist organization. People who break away and they try to carry out their own activity. It's not the first time when you see a particular commander pulling out and they're trying to create his own group and they're carrying it out, not following the ideology or the objectives of the main organization, but for criminality and for pecuniary, for reasons. So I see traces in terms of the modus operandi of ISWAP in this particular attack, but it might not actually be sponsored by the hierarchy of ISWAP, because not many organizations has the capacity and capability to prep an IED. So that's a very big issue here. If you look at the Kaduna train attack, the one that took place last year in October, IEDs were used, but it was not effective. As at that time, investigation showed that ISWAP elements had been recruited by the bandits to carry that attack. And now they waited for another 6 months or thereabout to launch another one on that particular rail, which was successful.
Mr. Sheyi Adetayo, again, I just want to quickly jump in, because should we be worried? It was saying that, let's assume, because it's still on a suspicion base. It is not that it has been said categorically that it is ISWAP, but if we're going to go with that statement, it does mean that we're saying that these terrorists have infiltrated the Southwest. How is it that we're surrounded by terrorists now, or that they come in and carry out this kind of attack and then go back to their base? Should we be concerned or worried?
We have active operations of different terrorist groups in the southwestern part of Nigeria, under different guys, under different groups, because banditry itself is also terrorism. And the active terror cells as well, they have been in operation. I know for sure that intelligence agencies in Nigeria, they have been very active in trying to dismantle various cells. At every point in time that this terrorist group tried to plant cells, they discover them and they dismantle them quietly in order not to create panic or apprehension in the society. And I know they are still doing that. However, the activities of bandits is well known. If you look at the testimonies of people like Barrister Ejiofor, people like Tosin Alao, the musician that was kidnapped, the guy emphasized that though they were kidnapped around Kogi, but they were taking them through the forest into Ekiti State, Ondo State, Edo State. So these guys are very mobile. They work for more than 200 kilometers for that period of time that it was held. And these people have been moving around, and they are not just only one group, there are several of those groups. What I discovered is that they must have somebody in their camp who has been trained by ISWAP or any of the known terrorist groups, be it ISWAP, be it Ansaru, or the core Boko Haram, that is already part or leading this particular group and can help them to prep. We've seen, like I made mention of the attack on the train in Kaduna. The first attack, intelligence showed that they employed bomb expert that came all the way from Borno State to help them to prep the rail lines. And I know after that time there are several others like that with that capacity that must have been moved around the country, and only God knows.
This is indeed a cause for concern, and maybe another. I wish we have enough time to talk about whether this is time for state policing, but I'm told my time is up. Thank you so much for talking to us, security expert Sheyi Adetayo.
Pleasure is mine.